All right, welcome back to the Coffee Chat Podcast. Man, has this been a journey? And you might still be thinking like, what are you guys doing a podcast? I thought Colado was coffee and crepes. No, we be serving facts as well. We like to share, everything we learn. We're not selfish. And today on this podcast, I have a good friend of mine. I have his bio right here because you only need your bio for a podcast, right? That's the only reason why we go to school and everything, to make it official. This person, he went to GCU just like me. He graduated a year early. He went for business management. Go Lopes. He also went to ASU. He got a master's in real estate development. I don't know what we're going to be talking about today, but there's a hint. He told me he started playing basketball, and now he's doing golf.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Recently got married. Everybody, help me welcome Joshua Rodriguez to the podcast.
Thank you. Super excited to be here, Aaron. I appreciate your invite and glad to be of a resource for all of the people that are listening here. And welcome to all of you who are listening. So I'm happy and excited to be able to share what we have to talk about.
Yes, man. And we always start off by telling our guests, what do you drink? Are you a coffee drinker? Let it put people on. Are you just, tea, water? What do you drink?
Well, if you guys are just listening, bummer for you, but those who can see me, I'm actually drinking a Colados drink, and it's coffee. I like drinking both tea and coffee, but coffee takes it all the way, 100%.
That's what I'm talking about. We need it.
And I got to say, my dad got me addicted to it. So
oh, really?
He's a huge coffee drinker.
He's a great man.
Oh, yes.
For doing that.
Yeah.
So, thank you for being on the podcast today. I admire our guest today, or Joshua, for who he is, man. We're like the same age, and this guy has accomplished so many things. His courage, his just the audacity to do these like big business plans, and making moves, bro.
Thank you.
Tell for those who don't know you a little bit about who you are and what you do, so they can get to know you a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Aaron. Those words are too kind. I always appreciate all the people that have given me praises, and all first and foremost, all honor and all glory goes to God. He's actually gotten me to where I'm at right now. A little bit about myself. I'm a Phoenix native, born and raised. I'm currently 25 years old, about to be 26, and I've had a trajectory from very small to where I'm at now. So grew up in a regular Phoenix household with mom and dad around, and I have a younger brother and a younger sister, and went to school here in Phoenix, elementary, middle school, high school, and slowly started to figure out what my purpose was in life. And ever since I was small, my parents took me to church and obviously built a foundation for me as I've grown up. And with that said, as I've grown, my dad has worked in actual real estate for the last 26 plus years. So even before I was born, so I was actually very surrounded by real estate. My mom was in the mortgage loan business, so was involved with seeing how my parents developed, grew in real estate. And I actually got into the industry when I was 15, very young.
Wow.
And I didn't have my license then, but I did help my dad with administrative work. When the
You
market
were selling houses at 15. I was like,
oh no,
this guy out there don't even have a house. He's already selling them.
Oh no, I couldn't sell them just yet, but I did all the paperwork for my dad, all the administrative information that needed to be filled out. I did that for my dad, and it was a tough time. It was when the downturn happened in 2009, and I wanted to see what I was going to be able to do and help my parents in some shape, way, or form. And you'll hear a little bit about my story where that really shaped who I am today. That experience, seeing the heartache and the hard times that my parents and I went through during those times really shaped me to who I am today. And the reason why I'm doing this, I'm actually in real estate. 3 years later, I got my license at 18, and I've been in real estate for the last 7 years. So after I graduated high school, went to Grand Canyon University, and got my bachelor's degree, just like Aaron mentioned. Then moved on for my master's degree at ASU, where I got a master's in real estate development. And after that, my career has just been skyrocketing. So I'm super excited to where I'm at today.
That's good, man. And is that where your love for real estate comes from your parents?
Oh, absolutely. My parents grew that desire to be able to it's not just about making money. It's actually trying to find homes for people. When I first started out, and now it's trying to help businesses and help them succeed and grow their brand, grow their footprint throughout all of Phoenix and throughout the state, throughout the nation even.
That's good, man. And is it just you and your dad, or who else is involved in the real estate? Your mom, you said, as well?
My mom used to be. Now mom decided to be a stay-at-home mom, so she's growing. She's raising the younger one, which is my younger sister.
Yeah.
But my dad and I work completely 100% in real estate.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to see them both. They help us at the shop too, helping us with our downtown location. Man, that was a struggle, right? To get that. Opening our second location was, it was a process. And it still is, but we managed to get our location. I mean, we're going through all the downtown locations trying to find just any location.
Right.
But I think, God had like a plan for that location, because we were passed by it. We're like, this is too big for us. I don't know if we can get it.
Yeah.
So it was like that whole like 7th Street. We tried one in Camelback. We had like it didn't go through. And it was like one thing over another. But seeing you, like the way you respond to, people who had authority or people who had, more experience, I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm like, I wonder if he can do this, and he would come out, and you can hear how he speaks right now. He has knowledge and he has this. But where does that confidence come from? At your age, you might be like, I don't have experience behind me to back me up. But, the way you speak, you have authority and you know what you're talking about. Where does that come from?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I may, I want to be vulnerable with everyone who's listening to me. So I just want to let everybody know that I'm actually an introvert. I was born as an introvert, and I've learned throughout the years to be an extrovert. I've had to force myself to be more out there, to talk to more people, to network, to have these conversations, and get to know people and start relationships with others, because being an introvert, unfortunately, you just don't create those kind of relationships. So I've been able to kind of manipulate my personality in such a way where it just forces myself out of my comfort zone. And that's just the goal, right? Is trying to accomplish things. If you want to accomplish these things, if you want to succeed in life, if you want something more than just yourself, you got to get out of that comfort zone and not be comfortable where you're at. You need to step out of that boundary. So with that said, I mean, my confidence, thank you. Thank you. My confidence comes from just reminding myself on a daily basis, because it's a daily struggle. I mean, it's a mental game for me, but it's just reminding myself, Josh, you could do it today. Get out of your comfort zone, because you have an end goal that you need to accomplish. So I build my confidence, I build my stamina in that certain way. And then when I talk to people, when I have these conversations with either executives, with business owners, or with other real estate brokers, I always try to make sure that I know all the facts, that I read all the information, that I'm prepared for what that conversation is going to be about, and that I have my questions ready.
Scared but prepared. Right?
Scared but prepared, exactly. So when I'm talking with everybody or with these people, I have a game plan. I know what's supposed to be the beginning, what the end is, and how that conversation is supposed to develop, so that I find a solution towards the end. And it has helped me throughout the last 7 years that I've been in real estate.
Yeah, and what would you advise? Because I started the same way. I was like super introvert. And, for those who don't know, I became a youth pastor a couple years ago. And that kind of like opened up my shell. Like I had to, you know what I mean? And now it's like I'm a little bit of both depending the situation. But I like how you said you have to like push yourself to be out there. But it's so true. You got to prepare, and then you never know what you're going to face, right? And when you're young, that's what you got to do. If you want to really grow and be out there and have these, make big moves, you really got to prepare.
And I won't lie. I mean, part of my experience to break out of my shell is just like you, actually. I was actually thrown into positions where I really needed to step out of my circle, step out of my comfort zone.
In the moment, you don't like it, right?
Exactly.
But later, you're grateful for it.
Exactly. So the very first one that I'll tell you about is when I was asked to lead the worship ministry at church at 15, and it's kind of hard to hear a 15-year-old trying to sing in tune in the key of G, trying to lead worship with other musicians that are way older than you. But that actually developed me to who I am now. I mean, life throws at you some tough situations, and the reality is either you take it and run with it, or you just, leave it and crumble up in a little corner.
And all that has to do with trust. We have leaders that trust, or maybe they don't have no choice, but like we need a worship, or we need like a new like shift leader. Like go out there and do it, but it's that full trust that you have from other people that really like kind of like, oh, if they trust me, if they think I can do it,
Exactly.
then you know what, let's go for it. So I think that's a key role.
And that's the nice thing, right? When leaders actually see your potential and your future, you know, and the reality is sometimes people see things in us that we don't see, but we need to execute on that. If they see that, we need to take that leap of faith and execute on that and see what we could do. A lot of people would be surprised as to who they get to find out who they are once they step out of their comfort zone.
And they're waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm young. Maybe when I'm 25, I'll start my own business.
Yeah.
Maybe when I have it all together. But I think the key is you learn as you go.
Right.
You know, you got to do it now and figure it out on the way there. And eventually you're going to find out, you know, we were just speaking to somebody before with Colin. He started a podcast. He said, I did 10 and it was horrible and it went wrong. And I'm like, well, you have 10 reasons on how not to do it, you know, and that's how life is. And I'm pretty sure, you know, do you want to share any like embarrassing moments that you sometimes, because we don't all have it figured out.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know like any mess ups or.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just so you all know, everyone fails, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that. I've learned not to be ashamed of that. I've learned not to be ashamed of what people say, you know, behind your back. But, I mean, from worship ministry, when I started at 15, a lot of people would tell me, hey, you seem really off-key. So I decided to say to myself, well, I'll take some singing classes throughout high school, and I actually improved on that. So I actually executed something so I can improve on. When I became a youth leader, same thing. You know, I had mentors and people that were helping me develop strong classes and strong preachings for the young people. And now that I'm in this industry, you know, I've made some wrong mistakes, like sending emails to the wrong people and not rereading my work, or not sending the right message. And my mentor says, Josh, you really need to pay attention. You know, it's attention to detail. Before you do anything, reread your information, rethink about what you're going to say, and practice. It's funny. Crazy because my mentor, just today we had a presentation and we practiced an hour before to go through the slides and go through that information. So it's just being prepared.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we had Miriam on the podcast. She's like our attorney. Yeah. And so I wanted to get it right. Like when I invited her to the podcast, you know, so I took it to our advisor and I sent him the email, like, is this good? So we were, you know, talking back and forth, like, fix this. And when I sent her the email, I forwarded all those emails of us trying to fix it. So she got all the mistakes. I'm like, oh, that's a total fail. She probably saw it, like, laughing, like, this kid's trying to show off.
Oh, gosh.
But, you know, when in the professional world, like, detail is so key.
Yes.
And, you know, but should you know, where's the difference between trying to pretend something you're not? You know, as a young leader, how old are you?
I'm 25.
25. Okay. So as a young leader, you know, you're faced with corporate, you know, how do you find a way to be that professional even though you know you're not? You know, is it fake it till you make it, or do you just be real and send it? You know, they'll know, you know, who I am. You know, how do you fight that?
No, this is great. That's a fantastic question. I will always caution and tell you all, never fake it till you make it. That is completely wrong, because in the world that I'm living in right now, if you're working with executives or decision makers, you only have one chance. And the sad thing is that they don't give you a second chance. So impression is key. First impression is for utmost key. So the way I've done it is you just got to realize where you're at and who you are and what you need to do. At this moment, I'm 25 and I'm working with people that are above 50. You know, and these people have 25, 30 years of experience in the corporate world and running this business. So what am I trying to say with that? A lot of us as millennials and boomlets really need to hang on to any mentor, any teacher, or any guide so that you could get that experience and accelerate yourself 10, you know, if it's going to take you 10, 15, 20 years, having a mentor will accelerate you and know things 3, 5, or even less than 10 years, right? So my mentor tells me all the time, he says, Josh, you know a lot of things, and when I first started real estate, and they started real estate in 35, 40 years of age, and I'm only 25, right? So being able to realize that, you don't have to know what your mentor knows. You don't have to know what your corporate clients know. What you really do need to know is what kind of product you're selling, what service you're providing, or why you give value to the conversation. And when it pertains to me, I'm the one that's giving the energy, providing all the resources, giving people the details that they need to know, while my mentor talks about the bigger picture. He talks about the bigger picture, and I talk about the strategy and the opportunity and the implementation.
So you got to get people that know.
Exactly.
Right? So don't fake it in a way that, all right, I'm going to pretend like I know how to run this. And at the end, like you get the job and then it's like, all right, what do I do now?
Right.
Get the people to know to help you. That way you don't have to know it all. It's about who you know.
Right.
Pretty much.
And the nice thing is where I work at, it's a team effort. So there's strength in numbers. Okay. So everybody has their certain value and what they're going to share in the conversation. And I get that opportunity because one day, 10 years from now, or even less than that, I'll be in my mentor's shoes, and I'll be leading the discussion.
Yeah. It's going to flip. Right?
Yes.
Tortilla's going to flip.
Yes.
In your perspective, real estate perspective, is now a good time to buy a home or open up a business, with everything that's happening right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the residential real estate, and I do that. I dabble in it. But like I said, one of my mentors is my own father. So I actually asked him this question yesterday, and he said it's an opportune time to purchase your home. Start that conversation with real estate and try to identify what it is that you really want to do when it comes to housing. And the reason why is because the interest rates are at an all-time low. I mean, we're seeing interest rates like we did when it was the recession. So I mean, you have the better opportunity to be able to qualify for a bigger home for the right amount of money that you could afford. So I would say it's imperative that you consider that because the real estate housing market has not stopped. It's the total contrary. It's been still on an uphill climb, even with COVID-19 present.
Why is that?
Because people are taking advantage of these low interest loans. People are taking advantage that they could still qualify for a home. And a lot of these, buyers they're both essential and non-essential service workers or workers in general, but they want to take advantage of the fact that the interest rates are still less than 5%, where the reality is interest rates on a normal market is between 6 and 8%.
Okay.
And that's a regular loan. So the fact that it's way less than that, take advantage of the opportunity because once it goes up, you won't be able to qualify for much more of a loan.
What's your advice for, I know like my sister's really interested like buying a house and maybe like renting it out. How does that whole process work? I know we don't go to school for this. Like they don't teach us in school, like buying a house and all this. What do you suggest for somebody who wants to go into maybe not real estate or maybe like flipping houses and renting? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Is finding a real estate broker or a real estate agent that has that experience so that you could ask those questions. And I always tell everyone, even my colleagues, even for your sister as well, write all the questions that you have down and ask those questions. Like, don't be afraid to ask those questions and be able to navigate and find a game plan, which the real estate broker is supposed to do, help you find a game plan so you could get to your end goal, which we've helped tons and tons of investors or people that didn't even think were investors are now investors, that they bought their house and they rented it out. And they've bought another house, or they've gotten into fix and flips, or they just wanted to buy and hold. I mean, I'm a testament to that because I personally do that. My dad's a testament to that. So we're here for any questions you have. But if you have a relationship with someone that does real estate, ask them those questions, and we will be able to guide you from start to finish so that you don't have a headache. And we all know that real estate, buying a house, is one of the biggest transactions that you'll ever make in your lifetime, and it's stressful. But we try to ease that stress. We try to make you more comfortable. We seek you being happy. So that's where it all stems from. It's more philanthropic than transactional for us.
Okay. And what would be the difference between, I know we talked about this earlier, but residential and commercial, real estate? For somebody who maybe interested in, doing real estate, what would be your best advice on picking those two?
I would definitely say, whoever's going to start real estate, if you don't know what it entails, I would suggest you starting out in residential real estate just so that you start getting the hang of what real estate is in a smaller spectrum. But if you do know and you want to get into commercial real estate, then go for it. But it's just being able – the reason why I say start out in residential is that you start learning the nuances. You start reading those contracts, having those interpersonal relationships that you create with your buyers / your sellers. It builds you up so that if you do one day want to transition into commercial real estate, you have the interpersonal skills to be able to talk to executives or business owners at a much grander level.
Yeah, so start small and then work your way up.
Absolutely,
much, right?
That's exactly how I did it. But I do want to say that some people have dived into commercial real estate right away, which is perfectly fine. It's just you're learning at a much grander scheme, and the turnover for a transaction is a lot longer than residential. So there's pros and cons to both, but if you just want to try to learn right away, I would say residential would be the start.
That's good. And now with all the technology that's going on, how do you market yourself as a real estate agent? There's like social media. Like, what are the benefits of that?
Absolutely. So for residential real estate, social media is everything. Technology is everything completely. It's so important that you incorporate it and implement it in your business practice, because that's how people get to know you. And the reality is, going back to introvert/extrovert, if you're an introvert, you really need to step out of your bubble if you want to become a residential real estate agent, because you need to be out there all the time. When it comes to commercial real estate, that's just a slightly different market that you're trying to get to. So I'll give you my experience is that I use LinkedIn heavily. That's actually our social media platform that we use on a daily basis, and that's how we try to find our prospects, our clients, so that we could provide them the services that we want to. But in residential, it's a lot tougher because you have a lot more competition. But the one that knows how to take advantage of the technology will obviously have a competitive edge to the other real estate brokers that are out there.
Good, man. And such good information for anybody who's interested in real estate right here. I mean, Joshua has all the facts at a young age. For my last question is, what does it take to be a young leader in today's world?
That's a good question. I mean, it could be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. I think if you know what your purpose is, you will be recognized. Yeah, you will know what you're supposed to do. People will see the amount of hard work that you're putting into what you're trying to do and where you're trying to get to. And some people seek recognition, but at the end of the day, if you're humble, if you're hungry, if you want to go out there and make a difference, you do it, and the reward comes afterward.
Yeah, so good, man. Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this chat. I mean, just even before here, we were just chatting, throwing, ideas and talking. I'm like, we should have started recording this. This is good. But I mean, you brought great information today, preparing. I think that's something that I took away is the more you prepare, the easier it's going to be whenever you face something. And that's something I think I definitely need to work in areas in my life. So it's important to, as a young leader,
yes,
know your facts, know who you are. And if you don't, find somebody who does so they can, take you further. Do you have any closing comments before we close?
I just want to say, I mean, one thing I want the young people to know, or whoever's listening, is that everything has a process. Everything takes time. Some people experience their success a lot quicker than others, but I'm here to tell you is that you are your own person and you have your own process. Don't compare yourself to other people, because that's where you find yourself being stressed and frustrated with yourself, and you start questioning, should I be doing this? Is this really my purpose? No, it's not. You stressing. Your purpose is not to stress. Your purpose is to try to get to your goal, and if it takes you 5 or 10 or even 15 years, I know it's a long time, but please be patient and be humble with what you're getting, because quite frankly, God is actually molding you to who He wants you to be, and you'll get there.
Yeah, and we were just saying, we have a long runway.
Yes, that's
as
exactly
a young,
right.
Leader or a young person, even in today's world, if you're starting a business, if you're a part of a business, there's nothing but time.
Right.
We still got a long way to go, and age-wise, like, we said, we haven't even taken off yet. We're still preparing, our plane to launch. But, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming on the show. For anybody who's watching, comment below if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, any topics that you'd like to hear from us. Thank you for tuning in. Listen to us next week on the podcast. See ya. Take care. Thank you again, Joshua.
Thank you, Aaron.
We'll see you on the next one. See ya.